Hello, fellow travelers at heart. Let's get out of Orlando and head over to the West Coast. We are headed to San Francisco for our dear friend's wedding weekend. Yay, empty exit row, except for this guy. I know him. We got in pretty late. This is actually the following morning. We stayed in a hotel that was right on the San Francisco Bay. It was really beautiful. Then we kind of did something that we don't normally do. We walked to go get a rental car. Before we headed down to the wedding, we wanted to go drive around Palo Alto. This matcha latte doesn't have any coffee in it. Learn from my mistake. About an hour and a half later, we made it to our hotel in Carmel by the sea. The traffic is no joke, but the hotel was so cute, it definitely made up for it. Before we knew it, it was the wedding day. We spent most of the morning getting ready. Everybody got their hair and makeup done. This is the beautiful wedding dress of the bride. Just stunning. And here are some of the bridesmaids' dresses. This was the reception venue, and for the ceremony, they actually got married on the beach here in a lovely sunset wedding. My official title was Veil Wrangler. The reception was so fun, but we were all feeling a little rough the morning after. A couple of us did head down to see the Monterey Bay Aquarium. Now, we almost didn't make it here for aforementioned reasons, but I'm overall really glad we did because the aquarium was just incredible. The open ocean exhibit was my absolute favorite. They had a turtle, 2 hammerhead sharks, many tuna, mahi-mahi, and stingrays all in the same giant tank. These little guys are African penguins. Unlike the penguins you normally think of, these guys actually prefer their habitat to be between 41 to 68 degrees Fahrenheit or 5 to 20 degrees Celsius. That's quite a bit warmer than their Antarctic cousins prefer. I loved watching the penguins during feeding time. The one standing by the team member with the bucket being hand-fed fish was particularly hilarious to me. You can actually walk out on the deck that they have facing the ocean and look for sea creatures that are just out, but we did not see any the day that we went. These fluffy ladies are sea otters. They can actually get as big as 50 to 70 pounds. which is a little bit larger than my dog. Sea otters are actually an endangered species. They were almost brought to extinction back in the 1800s due to the hunting and fur trading industries. But the Monterey Bay Aquarium has several programs to help improve the population of sea otters, including their surrogacy program, where the 5 female otters that they have are able to help raise rescued sea otter pups that can hopefully then be re-released back into the wild. After the aquarium, we headed down to a little town called Paso Robles. We were visiting some family and we had the opportunity to go wine tasting. Our first stop was at Justin Winery. This was my first time to the Justin Winery, but I have had the Justin Cabernet Sauvignon and their Chardonnay before, and both are really good. You can't really tell from the video, but it was quite windy outside that day. I was a little nervous that our glasses were going to tip over and our paper was going to fly off the table, but thankfully that didn't happen. If you are going to go tasting anywhere in Paso Robles, make sure that you check the weather before you head out, as the conditions can change rather quickly, and we definitely needed our jackets. Okay, let's talk about what we were tasting. My husband did the premium flight, and I did their regular wine flight. I think that doing the regular flight would probably be best for most people. Definitely their 2019 Isosceles wine was my favorite, and I believe you can only get that at their winery location. After spending a lot of time walking around outside, we finally decided to take a look at the inside of the winery. They had some really big bottles of wine. Up next, we went to a winery called Tooth and Nail. This winery is unique because, well, it looks like a castle and you can see it has a moat. This winery had some really cool decor on the inside, including some, I don't know how to describe it, Gothic artwork. They had quite a lot of it, and it was really fun to look at while we were enjoying some wine. We We didn't end up doing a tasting here, but I did get a glass of the Possessor Red Blend, which I believe is their flagship wine, and it was really good. I definitely want to come back and try some of their other wines. The last, but certainly not the least, winery that we went to was the Ancient Peaks Winery in Santa Margarita. We got to do a tasting, and I must say that their 2020 Chardonnay was my absolute favorite. This place has a really cool story and some really excellent food and wine, so definitely check it out if you're in the area. Where are we headed next? I'm glad you asked. We're actually driving over to the Piedras Blancas State Marine Reserve. This is a really special area because it is one of the only places in the United States where you can see wild sea lions and elephant seals. You have to drive through the mountains to get over to the coast, but it was such a beautiful drive, I was not complaining. We made it, but it's a bit windy. Now, if only we could find some of the seals and sea lions. They were really not hard to find. I really loved seeing all their personalities. A lot were just really sleepy, but some were more curious, and others, well, they seemed like they wanted to fight. Oh, actually just wanted to cuddle. For our last stop of the trip, we're headed down south to Morrow Bay. We're headed for that big rock out in the distance, called Morrow Rock. Morrow Rock is the westernmost peak in a chain of hills known as the Nine Sisters. These are the eroded remains of a chain of ancient volcanoes that erupted between 20 to 26 million years ago. Morrow Rock is a volcanic plug, which is created when magma hardens with an event on an active volcano. Thankfully, it did not erupt while we were there. It was really cool to see. If you made it this far, thank you so much for watching, and please subscribe if you want to see more travel content like this.